So my name is Alamu Tasfai. I'm Regional Programs Manager at Austria and Coordinator of the EthioLatinCoffee Community of Practice. And I'm truly excited to guide you through this enlightening journey today. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Better Than Cash Alliance, Cooperative Bank of Oromia, ProExpo and Brisas of Honduras for collaborating with us for this webinar. Our agenda is packed with valuable insights from experts and practitioners, covering topics on empowering women in the coffee sector through harnessing digital solutions for sustainable income and financial equality, as well as digital technological solutions for value additions in the coffee value chain. We have the privilege of hearing from distinguished speakers from the Better Than Cash Alliance, the Cooperative Bank of Oromia, Barisa's Woman Coffee brand of Honduras will be presenting their experience. But it's not going to be just about presentations. We value your participation, your questions, and your insights. Our question and answer session will be a platform for engaging discussions, and we encourage you to actively participate using the chat or using the Q&A functionality, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. So as we embark on this exploration of digital solutions and their impact on women coffee farmers and smallholder farmers as a whole, let's keep our minds open, our questions ready, and also be ready to actively participate. So without further ado, let's kickstart this enlightening journey into the world of digital empowerment for women coffee farmers. Thank you for joining us, and let's make this webinar a remarkable experience. Enjoy the session. Our first speaker is Ms. Rahel Ali from Better Than Cash Alliance. She is a digital finance expert at Better Than Cash. And I'll give the floor to Rahel. Rahel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Alamu. Thank you for the kind introduction. So I am Rahel Ali from the Better Than Cash Alliance. I am a digital finance expert. I'm very excited to be here presenting and discussing the financial inclusion agenda, which is at the center of the work, what we do at the Better Than Cash Alliance. I am also joined by my colleague Flamera, who will share us practical examples from, the collaboration we do in partnership with the Oromia Coffee Farmers Cooperative Unions. I'm sure you will have an insightful session on the digital payment and reaching financial equality. And we'd like to thank the organizers, Ethiopian Women in Coffee, Sarah in particular, and Alabu for coordinating this webinar. Thank you so much. So our presentation today will highlight some of the values in digitizing payments for women farmers in agriculture, in coffee sector, and how the digital payment technology is instrumental in bringing impact for women in the rural community and smallholder farmers with low incomes and access to tools and skills. So we'll start by giving you a brief intro about the Alliance, the Better Than Cash Alliance, and then we'll see how, we'll set the discussion tone by reviewing key highlights and researches which has been done around women in agriculture. We will also see what barriers women face and the challenges they have, and also the opportunities that we can harness through digitization of payments, and the opportunities and the possibilities that can bring for women farmers. And then also we'll share, we have this framework principles that guide digitization, which is responsible digital payments, which really helps companies, governments, and international organizations to consider during implementing digitization and specifically access to financial services. In this case, we'll consider the context of agriculture in particular. Better Than Cash Alliance is hosted by the United Nations. It's the alliance of countries, companies, and international organizations, mainly focusing on the transition from cash to responsible digital payments, where we can drive, some of the actions or most of the action on the on reaching sustainable developmental goals. So the alliance has 80 members. Members who are committed to digitizing payments through their value chains, where they can bring, efficiency, transparency. In particular for women, it means economic participation and driving financial inclusion, where they will be given tools and skills they will require. So this is in general who we are. This is to give you an overview of, what members we have in terms of, countries, and we have also companies that you can see. And from international organization, there are UN agencies as well. So I will take a few minutes to give you some key highlights from relevant studies done around women's contribution and disparities. One key research has been, findings has been shared by African Developmental Bank around women in agriculture. So the study reveals that in terms of, the women population in agriculture sector, 52% of the population is covered by, or women make up 52%, which is a very significant number. In terms of, the labor force, 50% of the labor force in agriculture for sub-Saharan Africa is covered by women. And from 60 to 80% of the continent's food production is managed by women. You can see that it's a very significant population contributing to a very vital sector, which is the main economic backbone for the African people. When you look at, how their contribution is recognized throughout the value chain, most of the time, women's contribution in agriculture sector are undervalued, often undocumented. So you can see that there is a huge gap when it comes to recognizing women's, documenting their contribution, but also making them equally benefiting from their contribution. In terms of land ownership, another study reveals that for sub-Saharan Africa countries, land ownership stands at less than 1%, which is, again, a big gap and a large disparity. In Ethiopian context, 75 specifically for the coffee sector, 75% of the labor force are covered by women. When you look at in terms of the earning they make, they make only 34% of the total income generated in the sector. So this tells us that the data speaks volume in terms of the inequalities in resource ownership, in income, in financial inclusion, which in terms of if you look at it globally, half of the world population is around 50% are women. Even in continents context, women make up more than 52%. So we can see that the economic empowerment agenda is a very critical one, and it's vital for us to think of strategies, initiatives that really address these huge gaps and narrow down the disparities. There are challenges, but we have picked the key challenges that can really be overcome through the use of digital payments. At the Better Than Cash Alliance, we believe that digital technologies, digital payment, responsible digital payment solutions have the power to change, some of the narratives we have seen in terms of resource ownership, access to finance, access to credit, access to phone ownership. We see that there are lots of disparities, and how do we bridge these gaps? So responsible digital payments have been proven to drive economic empowerment, poverty alleviation. For instance, it's good to mention that how mobiles are transforming how we do business every day, from checking our balances, from sending money, from receiving money, from handling our finances, accessing informations, networking, you can name it. Internet and mobile have been very instrumental in changing some of the disparities and the gender gaps in resource ownership and so on. So I wanted to focus, some of the key areas in terms of, limitation in accessing credit and financial services, which we believe that technologies are very instrumental and crucial to allow women have access, especially in women farmers and in rural setup. The traditional banking system is not ideal. The products and services that are offered in the banking sector may not fit to the needs of the last mile women in farming. So in terms of accessing credit, now mobile technologies are transforming how we do business. So women who have mobile have the opportunity to have their wallet accounts through mobile POS. That means it will open the doors for them to have additional products and services such as credit services. So having a digital payment account will open and allow them to build a data so that they can have a credit history. Having a digital payment transacting through the mobile wallet means they are building a credit history. Then they can have access to credit without having them to be required to provide a collateral. So I think we can see that how technologies are capable in driving inclusivity in terms of financial accesses. There are products that can be helpful for farmers, which are micro insurance, and some other additional products can be bring the gap to narrow the disparities we have discussed. So what are the main benefits that responsible digital payment can provide for farmers? The first one is advancing financial equality for women and youth farmers. It means to have a saving account. A saving account will provide a woman to have a control over the, I would give you an example, a personal example, where, as a woman and as a mother, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I will share an personal example. My bank accounts are, as a woman and as a mother, very crucial for me. It gives me, control in terms of, be the first one to address some of the challenges or issues I would have in terms of, settling bills, paying for, instant unexpected expenses. So as a woman, we realize that women should be empowered to have their own, manage their own finance. That means if they have saving account, they will be eligible to access credits and have insurance and so on. So this is a very good example why digital financial solutions are able to drive equality for women specifically. In terms of, collecting data, we believe that we can change what we know. So it's good always to collect, to understand how women are behaving, their behaviors, their attitudes, so that we can design products and services that fits to their specific needs. Usually banks design products for the larger population who are most of the time educated, have access to, any products and services, and are able to provide collateral if they want any credit. So digital financial solutions, unlike the traditional banking system, provide a unique opportunity that can curb the problems and the exclusion women face currently. We have said that it will allow them to have equal participation in the economy, but also they are able to have, it will contribute to increase their incomes in a way that when they save, they are able to plan, structure how they wanted to manage their finances and address some of the challenges they have. And their awareness level and education in terms of, how they manage their finance will be also improved. In terms of, climate is a huge challenge currently. So digital finance also provide this resilience and adaptation. We have mentioned products such as saving, insurance, and pension, and credit services. So it will allow them to build a safety net where during shocks, they will have, a coping mechanism. They will also be, able to access products, inputs, and processings in a way. In terms of, building food security, Again, financial products and services allow women to build the access to credit leveraging, where through digital payments and the data that's collected through them, to be able women have that credit history to help them have access to credit and other services. So I have highlighted the UN. I have mentioned earlier that responsible digital payment, the principle provides a framework, we can call it a guideline, where we can consider during, how we can build the trust and how digital payments should be, working all the time, and how they should be fair, how they should be transparent, and they also should be including accountability. And most importantly, whenever there is an issue, customers should have a way to address their issues. So this could be an issue resolution process. Most of the time, hotlines will be available, but most of the time, people at the rural setup needs a very tailored solution. It could be an agent network we have built around the rural area. A close-by shop can provide guidance, support in order to address their needs. But also we can be more creative in building a community-based issue resolution and championing the digitization of payments by creating a peer-to-peer learning opportunity. So one of the principles, we have 9 principles. One of the principles is prioritizing women, which is principle number 3, which I will be deep diving later. So I will focus on, the principle 3 and try to touch each one. The first principle is to treat users fairly, regardless of, who they are, their background, women, male, regardless of their gender, race, whatever background, all users should be treated fairly through digitization of payments. Let me go to principle 3, where it says prioritizing women. We have said much in terms of, how women are excluded, why we need to, bridge the gaps. Bridge the gap in bringing the women, providing them access to financial services. Due to the disparities, focusing on women means allowing a significant portion of the population to have to come out of poverty, to be able to have economic sustainability and economic growth at a large sector. So women should be at the center of any initiative which promotes financial inclusivity and economic empowerment. Some of the other principles also I have mentioned is transparency, where payments or digital solutions should be transparent enough to build the trust, where users are encouraged to use them again and again. In terms of providing user a choice, we always believe that customers or users should be given an opportunity to choose between services. So we at the Better Than Cash Alliance believe that women should be given the opportunity to have access to various services, so that they will enjoy an enhanced service experience. I have mentioned the recourse where it's a very critical thing for users, and to build that trust. Whenever there is a transaction failure, we happen to have that hesitation if things are taking to resolve. We have experiences when using, transferring, whenever a money transfer is start at somewhere in the system, we tend to, have that hesitation to use that service again. So looking at the context of women smallholder farmers, it's very critical to build the system and the process for them to be able to address their issues immediately, so that they have that trust to use digital solutions frequently, which can lead to adoption and usage. This is the 10 actions of reaching financial equality are very action-oriented instruments for women to reach financial equality. These are actions suggested for companies, governments, and international organizations. Whenever they deploy integrate digital solutions, they should be able to use these frameworks to guide the digitization process. The first, I think it's worth going through these actions. The first one is digitize private sector payments. Private sector payments have the tendency to bring that multiplier effect to get a scale up and drive adoption. The second one is digitizing government social benefits. In Ethiopia, we have a productive safety net program where last mile rural beneficiaries receive government sponsored aid payments through mobile technologies. This has increased the financial inclusion work the country and the government has been working so far. So it's one of the national flagship program, which can be taken as an example in driving and embedding digital financial solutions at a rural setup. In terms of making sure that our policies, regulations align in the interest of women. The number 3 says outlaw discrimination against women. So our policies in terms of making sure that they support women financial inclusion and resource ownership and eventually economic participation. We know that land ownership in Ethiopia, currently it has been amended. I will stand corrected if I am wrong, but I know that currently women have the right to own lands with their partner. In terms of accessing credit, the financial sector, if a husband wants to access credit, the wife needs to sign on that, which is a very encouraging, initiative in terms of policy reforms that encourage equal participation of women. In terms of having the documentation to be able to open accounts, whether it's a mobile wallet, whether it is a bank account, ID and documentation plays a significant role. Again, I would mention there is a government-led initiative, National ID Initiative, which is currently going through under implementation. Eventually, it's expected to drive financial inclusion, where women who doesn't have ID can have that unique ID to be able to open wallet or accounts at branch level, bank branch level. There is a huge, again, there is a huge gap, which I have mentioned earlier in terms of mobile ownership within the household. I will give you an example where we picked a lesson from one of the pilots we have run in Oromia region, Asalla, in partnership with Unilever, where we supported to embed digital payment solution for women micro entrepreneurs who are selling their products, specifically Unilever products, door to door or at open market. One thing we have observed is there is a gap in terms of mobile ownership within the household. Most of the time, if women have a mobile, it will be a basic feature phone, while the male family member would have a smartphone. And in some occasion, we have learned that women are not allowed to open a wallet account, due to, their husband's concern, where they will provide their name and their mobile number, while the woman is the one who has been registered to go through these initiatives. So we need to make sure that we provide accessible, affordable mobile ownerships during any digitization initiative, so that we are able to drive inclusive access to devices. We know that the other aspect is that women tend to be very comfortable, when they visit service outlets, especially financial service outlets. It's better to place women so that, specifically at the last mile, they are encouraged to bring their issues forward or be able to adopt that solutions. We have mentioned the sex, collecting and analyzing sex disaggregated data will be able to help us, to drive informed decisions and change policies and understand what women, how women behave on a certain, services and products, and understand how, a certain initiative is supporting the women financial inclusiveness. Again, in terms of designing products and services that are specifically tailored to women, it's very important to consider what women want and what they need. Instead of, going with out of the shelf products and services, we need to make sure that we understand how, how the women understand the product and services. What do they need in terms of skill, exposure, language availability? We usually, our products, some of the wallet services have a very sophisticated authentication method. In terms of language, they accommodate, few options. But when you go to the rural parts, we need to consider what language that in that rural setup would be fit, or we need to consider. what are the functionalities that require us, to be more considerate. So we need to make sure that products and services are tailored to that specific context, especially when we consider women farmers. We need to pay attention to this. We know that agriculture is really, in Ethiopia context, the backbone of the economy, and women makes a significant number, and technologies such as e-commerce are changing how we do business. So making sure that education, trainings, and such technologies are able to, bring women to the level we want them. We need to go through, a process in terms of, providing the access, creating that channel, enabling them to have that network, to have that connectivity is very essential. Consumer protection, again, is at the heart of any digital technology, in general, in financial sector, because we know that vulnerable populations such as women are most of the time taken advantage when it comes to how to use technology, how to provide. We find the trust level and the awareness level in terms of safety, securing their accounts, not sharing their passwords or pins, are not as we expect them. So we need to make sure that consumer protection, such as educating the public, making sure that our target consumers understand how they should be aware in terms of frauds, scams, and how fast we are able to detect that, and building that protective mechanism is very essential. But also, as a policy, we should make sure that consumer protection policies are implemented, but also reinforce it at every level. These are my presentations. I will give the floor to my colleague Flamera. He would give us a practical example from an ongoing project, a coffee value chain digitization, which are currently ongoing, but also other examples from their other partnerships, initiatives. So Flamera, over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ray, and all facilitators and participants for having us and giving us this opportunity. Am I audible, maybe?
Yes, but not loud enough.
Okay.
Are you in the English channel?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Continue, please.
Yeah. Thank you. So maybe to highlight about Cooperative Bank of Oromia, just the idea of founding the bank is emanated from the gap of financing rural farmers and cooperatives. And since there is no legal provision that allows establishment of cooperative bank in the country, just our bank was registered in 2004 in accordance with Commercial Code of Ethiopia and commenced in operation in 2005. And just as a mission, the Coop Bank having a mission of rooting this foundation in communities who provide banking solutions that creates greater customer experience with emphasis to cooperatives and agro-based businesses, just through proper use of human resource and up-to-date technologies to maximize the stakeholders' value. So, since our mission is give emphasis to cooperative and agro-based businesses, just we still playing a crucial role for the grassroots community, especially by serving unbanked and underbanked societies in the rural area. We embarked on technology revolution just because no way of achieving financial inclusion without significant use of technology. The bank we just believe in this technological embarkment and a revolution. So large section of financial excluded population inhabits, as you know, inhabits in rural areas. So we believe that working with primary cooperatives, unions can solve this problem. And currently, the bank has registered remarkable achievements that would help us foundation for more success to come. And currently, the bank has more than 11 million customers deposit accounts and more than 143 billion assets and more than 735 branches and the 50 eco branches across the country. And those eco branches are open in the rural areas where there is no electricity and infrastructure. And it is just using solar system for the electricity generation and to just render the banking services. So from ownership structure set, the bank more than 65% of the bank is owned by farmers and cooperatives. And what we did so far is just we created just ongoing also we create awareness creation on banking services and financial inclusion both for women and farmers, giving focus especially for women and farmers in addition to the general public and encouraging saving habits and experience both for for women and the farmers. Namely, we do have a Think a Woman saving account. It is a saving account for women and specific to farmers. We do have farmer saving account for farmers with better interest rate than the regular ones. As this is also another opportunity and initiative to empower the women and the farmers economically. The other point I would like to highlight is about the micro lending, which is uncollateralized loan. This is the first in its kind in the Ethiopian banking industry. And out of 130,000 reached customers through this digital or uncollateralized micro lending, is total dispersed amount of more than 2.3 billion. The woman portion is in value is more than 730 million, granted to more than 42,000 females or women. This is around 30 plus percentage, and also we are contributing in both just as a saving and as a credit lending for economic empowerment. And even in the bank, we do have more than 150 women working on the managerial level, including the directors and the managers, and established large team led by vice president with so many managers, expertise, and officers under the domain. Even many of the staffs are at this agricultural banking departments are graduates of agriculture, horticulture, and the related fields to the specific to the farmers and women, because to utilize more from them. The other point, the bank working on especially directed to the webinar is when we come to digital financial services, DFS digital payment to farmers and cooperatives by opening the bank and a wallet account to them. One is EthioLatinCoffee Farmers Cooperative Union, the one we are working with Better Than Cash Alliance, partnering with Better Than Cash Alliance. And this union is, initially established by 34 cooperatives with 22,000 farmers. Today, they do have more than 407 cooperatives under their domain, with over 400,000 members. And the members of this union are the growers, processors, and suppliers of high quality organic Arabica coffee for the direct export. And what we did is selection of primary cooperatives under the union. This is the initial step for the digital payment. And the second is onboarding the selected primary cooperative on this digital platform. And a pilot test was conducted. And after the pilot test was successful, just as before the selection and the process, we gave them awareness session specific to the digital payments. And after the pilot was conducted, the training delivered on financial literacy and also how they use the digital platform. And currently, the first phase of the project was very successful. Just the transaction executed using the bank's digital platform for the farmers. Many merchants and agents are recruited around the area where they are living. And the primary cooperatives are selected and trained for the second phase. Also, 19 primary cooperatives under this union took the same TOT. And more than 55 merchants are onboarded. And the specific to this project, in addition to the existing agents, we recruited 5 new agents for seamless payments. This is how it's going. Recruiting agents in the farmers community to give banking services and seamless digital payments. And even out of our total digital customers, more than 12 million, 3.1 million customers are women. And this is more than 23, and also 23% of agents and the merchants of the banks are again women or female. So, in addition to the existing super agent, recently the bank just as recruited EthioPost as super agent. EthioPost is a large governmental institution who render postal services to the community across the country, and now working as our super agent. This enables our bank to render banking service, to unbanked and underbanked society through this more than 700 EthioPost branches. And the farmers and the women in the areas we believe that farmers and the women are also will be addressed in this modality too. In addition to this, currently we do have ongoing initiatives and digital product and services as a Kubu bank. We are developing value chain management for farmers, which we call it Furtu and a Farmer Pass digital products. And a Furtu is the one we call Furtu is just a digital product that aims to address farmers' basic needs, such as access to finance, for agri inputs, advisory services, and market linkage. And the second product we call Farm Pass is a digital product that aims to digitize payments in the agri sector and enable farmers to have a digital identity and a transaction history that will be used to provide access to finance. And this is what we are doing specific to farmers, specific to women, and specific to the digital payments as Cooperative Bank of Oromia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Flamer, and thank you, Rahel, for your remarkably insightful and comprehensive presentation on empowering women farmers in the coffee sector by promoting sustainable income and achieving financial equality through responsible digital payments, and also for your practical digital solutions that are making a significant difference for smallholder women farmers in Ethiopia through the Cooperative Bank of Oromia. Thank you so much for your presentations, both of you. I now will go to the next presentation. Do we have anyone from Honduras? Because we have a presentation from Honduras. I don't know. I wonder if anyone has joined.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning. Good morning, Melanie.
Well, good afternoon for you.
Yes, it's good afternoon for us. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Continue, please.
Okay, so do you have the presentation or do you want me to share my screen and I can
Yes,
present?
please share. Go ahead.
Can you see it now?
Yes, you can see
Okay.
it.
Great. Thanks. So my name is Melanie. I'm in charge of the part of commercialization in ProExo. And first of all, I want to ask, give my apologies for, coming a little bit late, but it was a confusing time. And also here's Valeria with me, who is the manager, the marketing manager, and I will let her introduce herself.
Good morning for everyone in Honduras and good afternoon to you. My name is Valeria, also from the ProExa company here in Honduras, and I'm the marketing manager.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you, boss.
So we're gonna talk about our women's brand, which is with aggregate value, and it's called Brisas. And to start, first to start, we want to give a little bit like thumbs up of what ProExo is. And so everything started in 2016, and our vision is to combat climate change, enhance competitiveness, and we have a lot about 8 years of experience. We're turning 8 years in June. And it all started with 24 producers. Now we associate producers. Now we are 264 producers, 52 women and 212 men. We work with the varieties of conventional coffee. We have specialty coffee such as high grown or strictly high grown, also a strictly high grown plus and micro lots coffees. And also we have certified coffees which meet the rainforest would meet the standards of Rainforest Alliance, Fair Trade, Organic of Europe and the United States. And we also have Women's Hand, and there's another that's coming. I mean, we're applying for it, that it's a regenerative organic certified, and we hope to have that standard by this year. Also, we have the varieties of Icafe 90, Lempira, Caturra, Huata, Catuai, and Paranema. Our farms are located between 1,000 and 1,800 meters above sea level. And we focus in the economic, social, environmental, and sustainability for our producers and farms. The services that we offer to our farmers are technical assistance in the farms, of course. We got organic fertilizers, project management, pre and post harvest financing, transportation. We also have our wet and dry coffee processing, the quality control, commercialization, marketing, and we also are adding this year IT and roastery, which are the new areas coming up this way. So that's like a little bit close up of what ProExo is. So now we can move to our how everything starts of the brand.
So about the group of women producers of ProExo, as Melanie said, it's made up of 52 women producers from the state of Copan and surrounding areas to Lempira and Ocotepeque, which are states as well. And the farms are between the 1,000 and 1,400 meters above sea level, producing around 8,000 bags of 64 kilograms.
Okay, so the relationship of the women's in the average of the participation in relation to the total membership is 17%. This means that the 11% of our women are between the 18 and 30 years old. The 46% are between 31 to 50 years old, and 43% are between the 51 to 80%. To 80 years old, sorry. Also to mention that our women are not just, they don't just dedicate to the farms, they're also entrepreneurs, they are administrators or teachers, but we wanted to give this motivation to them so they can have another motivation that it's the coffee with aggregate value. So here's a gender inclusion timeline, how everything start and to get to the point we are. So in 2017, Proexo had its first export experience with a third party, and it was with the standard con manos de mujer, which is the standard that is just woman inclusive. In 2018 to 2019, the first 32 members were registered to the Alliance of Con Manos de Mujer, or the International Women's Coffee Alliance. So those were the first 32 that start. Now all members are registered in the alliance. Then in 2020, the creation of the project start, and the legalization of the brands, because we have another 2 brands, but the first that came to life was the Brisas, which is just the women's. And then in 2021, there was a pilot project with Rainforest Alliance to evaluate and address the Chapter 5. That's about remediation, rainforest standard, empowerment of the gender community. Then in 2022, there was a gender strategy and equitable participation of 50% women in decision-making bodies. That's to mention too that 50% of the participation of the collaborators in the office were female. So we are about 16 collaborators, and 8 are women and 8 are men. And then in 2023, there was a business improvement plan, gender equality, under the model mixed score. Also, there was a women's coffee brand market study to explain our producers how we can design the packaging and to explain them about the digital platform, blockchain, and actions. There was a workshop to explain our producer how to empower them and talk about more about the brand and the benefits that it could bring.
So in 2020, Proexo embarked on a strategic endeavor to enter the value-added coffee market after an encounter with a South American buyer at a trade fair. I think it was on the SCA at Boston. So it was intrigued by the potential for enhanced market presence and profitability, and Proexo's leadership engaged in discussion regarding the creation of 3 distinct different coffee brands, as Melanie stated, so tailored to different quality levels. These brands were envisioned not only for the domestic market, but also for the international consumption as well, catering to a diverse range of coffee enthusiasts. So these brands were envisioned, as I said, for national and international markets. Talking about the Braces one, which is a specialty coffee with a cupping score of 81 through 83 points SCA. And with support from various, for a lot of projects, including the Rainforest Alliance, ProExo embarked on legalizing these brands, right? So laying the foundation for their entry into the market. Then a pivotal moment came with the development of a pilot project for digital traceability in collaboration with the consultancy firm Affogato. So these projects showcase how a QR code could consolidate information about each producer's coffee, enabling buyers to learn more about its history and origin. So we will see it later in another slide. So as talked in the timeline, so ProExo established a dedicated project management area led by a woman. So she is Scarlett, the one with the arrows here. She's our project manager, and she provided a clear vision for supporting producers in the line with organizations' cooperative efforts. This inclusive approach led to the decision to allocate one of the coffee brands, which is now Brisas, and specifically to the women coffee producers. This decision not only highlighted the role of women in the coffee value chain, but also garnered significant international support and recognition. So Scarlett, she went along with the German COP. She went to Colombia to experience this exchange experience about this group of women that they have their own, company that it's all led by women. They start with 20 women, and it's called the AMUC. Because it's the Association of Women of Cauca, something like that, sorry. And so she said that they started like with 20 women, and they're now like 400 women, and they do the whole process from farm to export, all led by women. So they experienced the firsthand the impacts of their international cooperation projects on technological advancement, the credit management, and women's empowerment. So inspired by this exchange, ProExo organized a workshop that we explain how everything start with this experience that our project manager she had the opportunity to experience back in Colombia. So she brought the idea to do it here in ProExo. So she said, if they can do it, why we can't? So then ProExo organized a workshop titled Women's Entrepreneurial Empowerment Day to motivate the females producers and foster empowerment. This led to creation of Brisas, women's coffee brand, designed collaboratively and incorporating elements representing the producers' identities and coffee's origin. The Colombia Exchange enriched ProExo's understanding of the best practices and empowerment of women with the coffee value chain, inspiring innovative initiatives for sustainability and impact. So here we have the flyer for promoted to the producers, and so they will acquire valuable insights on the women's empowerment. And here's like a little recap of how our workshop went. So we divided them. We split the women in groups, in 3 groups, and then we handed the materials like paper and markers so they can work after explaining them how, which kind of materials, colors, the packaging, the labels. And then here you can see in the right-hand side how they design the packaging. So they write down their the materials, if they wanted with aluminum foil or paper. And after explaining them about technology and empowerment,
They all say that they wanted a QR code, if you see here. And then that was group number 1. Then here, group number 2, they also have as well here, because we explained about the like I said, the packaging, the colors, the labels, and they say that they wanted a QR code too. So they all designed that as well. Group number 3, you can see here the mountains, the river, also with a QR code. So after having this workshop, we like recap all these ideas and send it to the designer, and that's how we got the final product. Because it is true that we are pro-exo, and we led the brand, but we wanted to the women feel their empowerment, that it's their brand. So we just help them through get to all like the design, let's say, to get it to the graphical design, so she will have like a better idea of what we wanted.
So in the pursuit to enter the value-added coffee market, Proexo invested a lot of effort in crafting, the packaging that will resonate with consumers and reflect the unique qualities of the coffee products. So inspired by all their vision and sustainability and inclusive, Proexo's packaging design process was very purposeful. So with the creation of their Breezes brand, specifically dedicated to the women coffee producers, Proexo aimed to convey a story of empowerment and quality through their packaging. The packaging design was meticulously developed to capture the essence of their coffee's origin, the dedication of the woman behind its production, and the organization's commitment to environment stewardship as well. So drawing upon insights gained from the market research and consumer preferences, Proexo's packaging featured vibrant colors and a good image, that evoke the natural beauty of the coffee growing regions. Later I'll explain about the colors, so stay tuned. Furthermore, Proexo incorporated elements of cultural significance and authenticity into the packaging, celebrating the rich heritage and traditions of the community, including the showcase that faces and stories of the women coffee producers on the packaging, and allowing the consumers to connect on a personal level with the people behind their coffee. Here comes the tag. So overall, Proexo's packaging design was more than just a visual representation of this brand, but it was a powerful storytelling tool that communicated the values, ethos, and commitment to quality, sustainability, and empowerment. So if you can see in the packaging, it comes this tag where it comes as well the traceability, where you can see it in. Just give me 1 second. If you can scan the code, that would be better, because it's not allowing me to play the video on the third image right here. But if you can scan it, that would be nice, so you can see all the traceability of behind this producer, which it says how many family members this woman have, if the farm has shade, what standards it has, hair form, where is it located, the altitude, the height. That would be nice if you can scan it, and you can also experience who's behind this coffee.
Yeah, so with all the requirements, we are implementing this traceability with, especially with the new European law about the deforestation. So now our clients can see where the coffee is coming from farm to cup. So you will have a traceability, like real data. And so we can do this. We are planning to do this by producers when it's a micro lot, so you'll have their own information. But if it's like a blend, it'll have the information of all the producers in the QR code as well. So you can see here the packaging you may say, why these colors? Well, that's why we went through a study market, because we cannot jump in the market saying, oh, we want a brand, and just, picking the same colors that you will see in each market, or in each supermarket, saying that it's brown or red, green, black, the same colors for all coffees. And so that's why we did the study market. So one of the questions was about the colors. If you see a packaging with lots of colors, that will be attractive, So that's why after all the design after the design of our producers, we finished with this design, and after the study market as well, because that help about the colors. And you may say that there's no Proexo in the back, but it goes in the back side, but you can see here the little leaves about the Proexo logo. So that's a representation, because we wanted to our producers or female producers feel that the brand is theirs.
So a little bit of a brief explanation about what the colors mean. Starting off with the sky blue. So for the coffee communities in Central America, the sky and weather conditions are very important to the agriculture and substances. So changes in the sky, such as the arrival of a rainfall, are very important as well for the crop growth. Then the mountains. The coffee cultivation exclusively takes place in the cherished mountainous regions of the western Honduras. Then the purple, it reflects a commitment to promoting the rights and empowerment of women. And then for the navy blue, and also including the river, which is the 5 stage on the picture on the right. The river means is one of the rivers that flows through this area in Copan, which is called the Aruco River, and plays a significant role in the life of the local community, as it provides the water for human consumption and the crop irrigation, in addition to being an important natural resource. Also, that when we export the coffee, the coffee goes by that river, like on that road. And then finally, the navy blue, it symbolizes the stability, reliability, commitment, elegance, and economic power, which is the brand's representation of an empowerment platform. Underscores its unwavering commitment to supporting the woman. Currently, we are crafting our website to sell this premium coffee on ground and
1 minute.
I'm sorry?
1 minute only. We have question and answer session also.
Sure. So the website will offer an immersive experience showcasing the coffee's quality, sustainability, and unique stories from the producers. So with navigation and secure e-commerce features, customers can easily browse and purchase the preferred coffee blends. And finally, you can scan our QR code, so you can look a little bit more of what Proexo and Café Brisas are, and also that you can experience a little bit more about us with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria and Melanie. Even though the presentation is a little bit misaligned with the theme of this webinar, but still it's relevant. Thank you so much for your presentation. I now will give the floor to Sarah to moderate the question and answer session. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Alamu. Yes, as you just said, the team from Honduras tried to give us the perspective from a strong community organized as Women in Coffee that has really created this vibrant existence with all the branding, packaging, which is at the end of the day profitability and sustainable livelihood for the producers. So we can think of it in that direction. Thank you all the presenters. Rahel, I have heard your presentation once and I have tried to emulate you when I was having this opportunity to present it to about 73 women in the producing communities around Dilla. It was deep. It is beyond my expertise, but the excitement it creates when you talk about financial what do you call it, equity, or when you talk about the fact that having access to finance immediately means decision power in your hands, immediately means improved confidence, immediately means having to spend in your own plan and whatever you need it for. So I was just talking about it. I just wanted to share this based on your presentation, but to make it very short and help them capture as many points as possible. And to buy the idea of digital financing, I was just talking about, okay, let's say your share of the whole income is 20% or 20 from 100. Would you want to ask it from your partner or would you want to have it in your pocket or in your phone? And every one of them said, yeah, I would love to have it in my hand. So it is not just because we want to talk about digital payments, it is really the heartbeat of especially women in the producing community and in any sector in the agriculture. So thank you for the presentation, Rahel, Oscar, and the team from Honduras. We really appreciate what you brought to the platform. Is there any question in our chats? Let me check there first or in the Q&A. And if there is none, I will open the platform for any one of the participants if you have any questions.
I have a question, Sarah.
Okay, Rashid.
Yes.
Thank you, Alamo.
This is for Rahel or Clara. What are some of the key challenges that women coffee farmers face in adopting digital financial solutions? And from your experience, and how can these challenges be overcome effectively from your experience? So what are the challenges that women coffee farmers face in adopting digital financial solutions, and how can it be addressed effectively?
Okay, before that, I need to acknowledge Flamera as well for his presentation. My sincere apologies for skipping that. And any question you could have also could go to Flamera because they are implementing and piloting digital payments in there. Any other question? Any other question? Let's just gather a few questions and address them because we are running out of time. No question? Okay, Rahel, you can answer to Alamu's question and I hope you got it. If not, he was asking about the challenges when you try to address digital payments.
Yes, I have got it. Thank you very much for the question, Alamu. It's a very good question. I'll start by identifying or sharing some of the challenges. If Flamera is still, yes, I think Flamera, he may also top on it. From our experience, we have seen that in terms of, awareness and understanding of, what digital payment is or, digital financial solution, women in the rural or the women farmers have a very minimal or sometimes no understanding of them. So it requires us to build, it's not like you'll approach someone in the city and tell them to open an account, which is a trend here in urban and suburban areas. You need to design, behavioral change, kind of initiative to first let them have the awareness. What does it give them? What are the benefits and so on? So I will give you an example from, again, we did this exciting pilot, and I'm always very proud of that initiatives. We piloted with 100 women, those who are traders, micro traders, who sell products door to door, or they have their own customers, they provide credit and so on. Sometimes they use open markets. So we did a pilot. This pilot started first by, making an assessment. So our assessment is that they don't have an understanding of, a mobile device can be a wallet account or can be your banking account and so on. So we came up with this BCC campaign where we took them through a rigorous one-to-one, door-to-door kind of awareness sensitization initiatives. And at the last, we let them decide by themselves if they want to join the program and, create their own account and then eventually make the payment for the purchase of goods and services from Unilever through their wallet account. So the outcome, after, we were able to go through all the steps and deploy the solution, we were able to see them, visit them, and listen to their experiences. And we had some, some time where we were transitioning from the pilot to the scale-up. And there was really a huge complaint that why we have stopped these initiatives, because they have seen the benefits where they don't need to pay a third party and have no idea of where the money is going, where they had some concern where, they were blaming their salespeople as they were not getting the goods they have ordered, because they may think that the money they have paid has not been really directed to the direct recipient, which is Unilever. So they were able to build that trust. So in my view, the key one is building that trust through education and awareness. And then it will be easy from there to deploy the solution. The financial service provider will be able to, build the agent network, make sure that they don't really travel miles. These are key issues. People in the rural travel miles. The average distance they travel is 20 kilometers in our experience from the assessment we did. But they do also travel more than 20 kilometers to access banking services. So this model, the technology model, allows agency banking model where, a nearest small shop can be a cash in, a cash out point, where a farmer doesn't need to leave the farming to, access cash, send money, and so on. So I think some of the challenges we face can be addressed technologically, whether it is, unavailability of access pointers, once we understand the real issues. So some of the issues, other than, the awareness and lack of understanding or exposure, is, accessibility and affordability of devices. Whether it is an internet service, internet is a luxurious, product or service in the rural setup. If you look at it from, the price sensitivity angle. But in terms of devices, mobile phones are not cheap for a low-income household to afford mobile phones. These days, you know how smartphone are costing in our markets. So how do we address, accessibility, affordability issues? The big, if we are talking about big challenges, infrastructure is really something the government is working on, but it remains to be a challenge. It could be, network coverage. We know that EthioTelecom has done a great job in terms of, providing 90% 3G. Is that 3G? I think it's 3G coverage. But during our pilot, we had the main challenge we had was where internet connectivity is very low, and sometimes phone reception is challenging. So we have to configure the solution to a USSD based functionality where it really fits the areas, the remote locations. So yeah, I think I have mentioned the key ones. In terms of social norms, cultural barriers, those are, I think, so many of you in this webinar share those challenges. I'm glad to hear Melania mention that, their organization has enabled 50% women participation within their structure. We would like to see similar scenarios. No rural-urban divide in terms of when it comes to access to finance. In terms of, the setup, we want to see, banks creating a new way, innovative ways of addressing this huge market. We know that close to 80% of our population lives in rural areas, and agriculture is the main contributor of our economy. So we need to make sure access to electricity, which in a way impacts if they use mobile wallet. They need to have access to electricity so that they can have their batteries charged to encourage usage. And so we have issues which can be addressed at a institution level, but we have issues also that needs to be addressed at a government or much higher level. But we all need to start somewhere. I think platforms such as this are key for us to engage in conversations and dialogues and share experiences so that, we start doing something in our area. Thank you. I hope I have answered your questions. I would ask Flavera to chime in or, add any perspective on this.
Thank you, Rahel. Before Flamera comes in, I would like to just forward one question. The coffee value chain is very long, as you know, and complex. So if we want to get payments to the women, they need to have access to the product and to the closest market, which brings the issue of safety at the same time. They cannot carry the coffee to the closest collection center, because it is not safe for a woman to do that by herself. So there are issues that need to be addressed before also we try to resolve the issue of digital payment, which brings the topic of, maybe the next webinar, that how can stakeholders collaborate to make this happen. So maybe a webinar led by Better Than Cash. But remember, there is this phrase that Better Than Cash uses. If it is not Better Than Cash, help me, Rahel. there is no, it's
Thank
not an
you.
alternative at all.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
it
all,
is not
yeah,
disadvantage. It is
yeah,
not an
it's not
alternative.
better to
It
digitize.
is
Thank you for
exactly.
mentioning that. I think you have raised a very good subject, which we believe that in order to address, some of the critical issues which can help us, facilitate the digitization journey, we need to address some key barriers, norms, issues, challenges we have at the ground. Maybe I think we need to pick up on that discussion and come up with a similar session.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely. So, Flamera, when you address this from experience, you can tell us if there is a clear proposition, value proposition that you can bring to this platform. That okay, digitizing payments is critical and it can change the way women do business and it has improved their creditworthiness and some of them have access to some of them have improved their livelihoods. Is there anything that you can just bring as an example to just give us an insight into what proposition you would uh, bring to this platform so that all of us listening can ponder upon and maybe again bring our questions and reflections to the next, maybe in the next 3 4 months, to the next webinar that is going to bring us to the same topic. I can assure you.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Right. Just more or less, or almost, Ryan mentioned that the challenges are there, every aspect from the cultural and norm and behavioral aspects of the community, and to the practical ongoing, just regarding the technology, using usage and devices, or challenges. You know, as a solution, it's just all about the very commitment and the dedication from all parties, from the government to the private sector, is very vital. You know, it is not sole-standing business or sole-standing assignment. Just it is, needs, it requires collaborative partnership and collaborative activities and initiative to shared initiative among every organ involved and or stakeholders specific to this women and the farmers. So just it is, like, from behavioral or their experiences, as their nature, especially focusing on the rural ones, because that is where the challenges are there, related to the urban areas or little bit now developed infrastructure, the urban or towns who has infrastructures and uh, other supportive activities from everybody, like the government and the private. So the ruler, at the very beginning, they don't, they are not aware of the benefits or the value proposition of digital in general, not only from the bank perspective or from Cooperative Bank of Oromia, but in the general public, especially the rural areas, farmers and women, lack of awareness is a very challenge for the community. And then we need to strive toward this awareness creation again and again, 7 ways, 7 times, because it's very beneficial to them while they don't understand, or where they do have a lack of opportunity or lack of awareness to access all these digital payments platforms and this convenience, easiness of the digital and also is related to their effectiveness towards their work and efficiency, especially for those who are also engaged in a business. Um, it's the major one is lack of awareness of those benefits. Once they understand, once they know pro and the cons of everything on the ground, everybody is aware, and everybody will also pull to the platform because of the related benefits and usage. So we are, as a Kupu Bank, we are working on this by partnering so many governmental institutions, like from the federal government to the regional, where the project is piloting specific to Oromia Coffee. The region is Oromia Regional Estate in Ethiopia. So from cooperative community lead, so the regulatory part, the regulatory institution of the federal government is called the Commission for Cooperatives and Agricultural Bureau. So we are just a partner to that prestigious institution. And also in the regional, we do have a connection with our business network and the support to give them advisory services and to pull even the expertise from both government and the private sides. So we do have the connection with the regional government and the federal government to work with us, and also partnering like NGOs and like Better Than Cash Alliance, UNHCR for humanitarian cash transfer for internally displaced peoples and victims of the nature. So partnering with the like WFP on the same project. UNICEF, UN, as and they do have so many offices under the UN, like the UNEDP and the UNHCR. Those projects and initiative that directly to this specific digital payment or specific to the farmer and the rural area operation, we are partnering and cooperating with those institutions. Like this is what we are doing, and the challenges on the ground are, as I mentioned, and as a society, even the Kabale, Waradas, and the zonal administratives, we are participating them because it's difficult. We operating only as a bank because, as I mentioned, it requires collaborative partnership or collaborative understanding and activities. So we are touching every corner for the successful implementation of the digital payment, and
Thank you,
we are trying our
Flamina.
best like this. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That kind of answers kind of some of the questions. And yes, as I already said, we're going to need another session. Alamu and Rahel, please think about this. Alamu, I see your hand. You have a question?
Jaime raised earlier, Zami. If Jaime allows me, I can go first. Where is Jaime? Let me allow him to talk.
Who raised their hand? I cannot see. Okay.
I raised my hand, but please go, Alemu.
Okay.
Good. Let me. I want to ask Melanie and Valerie. This smart packaging labels that you talked about, utilizing QR codes on coffee packaging that customers can scan with their smartphones to access detailed information about the coffee, including its origin, the flavor profiles, and the story behind the women farmers who produced it, and so on, is really interesting. My question is, what were some of the key challenges Berisas encountered when implementing smart packaging labels on your coffee products?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, like we explained or we mentioned, we had to explain very in detail, to our farmers, to our producers about technology. So how did it work? So we have, we used to have a consultant of Hafer International here at our facility, and so he explained about what about the QR coding technology is. So there was a project that it was called Coffee Chain. So he addressed to our producers and explaining sorry about everything in the QR code. So and then how we obtained the QR code, because it was a collaborating, like I mentioned, with Hafer International. So basically, it was a donation of the project. So we didn't have to invest. Maybe you will think because it's technology, we will have to invest a lot of money in that. But so Proexo focus on projects as we mentioned, and one of the project is about social. So we look for projects, we apply, and when the organizations or then like the nonprofit organizations see that we meet the requirement, they say, oh, I mean, you deserve it. So maybe, the process to apply into the project, because there were just four or five, if I'm not bad, companies that got the project, and they apply a lot, so maybe those were one of the challenges about getting the project, like winning the project. And then when we passed the project, we had the opportunity to to empower our women's producers and make them know to understand, because many of our producers, they just went to let's say primary school, like middle school maybe. So we have to explain them very in detail about everything that it's evolving and evolutioning, especially when it's about technology. Maybe the topics may be a little bit hard to explain, but then in the workshop we had, we explained them very in detail, so they got that understanding, and also about explaining about what it's blockchain, because they had to be in they have to understand what we're doing so they can be empowered, so that's another challenge, I would say, empowering women because we are used to we are used in our community, we're used to be just men be in the power and so and so we wanted to change that. But now our female producers, they now feel that empowerment about not just technology but in general, so
Yes.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you.
yeah, so that's
Yet another important topic in the coffee sector, which is really challenging, the issue of packaging, whether it is for green coffee or for roasted coffee, tracking the products, the issue of traceability, another critical topic we need to address because it has a lot to do with the new EUDR, with specialty coffee management, traceability, as I said, and pricing. So I think, Alamu, again, this is another webinar by itself. Melanie, thank you for the insight, but I think we need another full webinar to address this one as well. If that is the last question, I don't see any hands. Jaime, do you still want to ask? Where are you?
Hello, Sarah, and thank you, colleagues. Yes,
Hi.
I would like to ask one question because I thought it was very interesting to go a little bit deeper into this, which is the involvement of the Bank of Oromia. No, this is like a very successful example of private sector involvement. And I would like to know a little bit from our colleague who was talking about this. How did they manage to bring in such a big player, so to say, no? And which recommendations and suggestions will he made for people who are looking for social inclusion, financial inclusion, Also, my question is if this is rentable for the bank, if it's profitable for the bank, because in that case, it's a good news as well, no? Like to sell the package, to replicate the experience. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Jaime. I think this question goes to Flamera. If you captured it right, Jaime is asking if this is a profitable endeavor for the bank, as well as, of course, a more time-saving, safe, and practical way of transaction for the woman. How do you relate this, and if it is really profitable for the bank as well, maybe it would be an investment you need to consider to support women in agribusiness and facilitating digital payments as an investment or as a CSR, and to scale up digitization of payments. So, Lamira, you may go about this one. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. And also my colleague here. And it's from the beginning, from the business game concept of the bank. Of course, it is not that much very huge amount or like a business gain on this project. However, as a co-bank, one of from the six core value of the bank, one is and a very crucial value is corporate social responsibility is our one core value. So when we say corporate social responsibility, it includes such projects and initiatives to realize the community benefit towards this financial inclusion and digital payments. That is what drive us most. However, on the top of the loan credits and some other services, of course, we do have a little bit commissions and service charges on that. But regarding the digital payment, even it is free of charge. Those all transactions are free of charge. Commission I was talking is just on the credit only, the micro lending. So it is not the profit what we honestly speaking, it's not the profit what that drive us, but it is the social corporate responsibility of the bank toward the community or to benefit the society. That is the very point. So even not only making profit or not only working on that, just we gave as a bank 100 more than 150 million Ethiopian birr for internally displaced peoples and the victims of the nature like drought and so on. Even on this 1 year and a half on it. So this is very surprising when we see from the business perspective. However, it is social corporate responsibility of the bank for the community. That is very answer, I think. And maybe on the transactions, on the awareness, on those things, our agent network is huge in the country. We are leading from the industry, from the private bankers. We do have more than 184,000 active agents across the country. So those agents are, based, more of them are based on the rural areas where these farmers and women are located. And they are very productive, and regarding their credit worthiness also, really they are very good on that, because as Ryle mentioned, it is all about trust. It is all about awareness. Once they are aware, once they trust the platform, once they trust the industry, whatever we are working, once they trust, they build trust on this, they are part of this, and even they are a key player on such projects. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Flamira. Thank you, everyone. I think we're almost past 2 minutes past our allocated time. But Alamu, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Trufena is going to give us a closing remarks, and that's how we close. Am I right?
Yes, Dr. Spena, can just say bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for availing yourself to this webinar. And I really want to thank the presenters for their very insightful presentations. For sure, we have all benefited from this. And thank you so much on the digital payment accounts and what they have done for women. This is what we call, this is actually, it has led to social justice and equality. And this is what this is actually, this is the real focus on women empowerment. So I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much, Flamera and your team, for what you're doing. Thank you, Melanie. Jamie, your question needs to be interrogated further. And as we have, as Sarah said, we need to look deeper into it, maybe organize another webinar to talk about these partnerships and how they work together to empower the women. Thanks, everyone. Let me not bore you with the repetition of the good speeches we have had here. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody. I will share the recording of this
everyone.
webinar and the proceedings. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.